barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Um, Nine Wives, click the link below. Nine Wives, go ahead and click the link. I appreciate you in advance. All right, purse bid is postponed today. As I told you guys before, I'm gonna say I'm right again. I told you the purse bid will be postponed. I said it'll be postponed for 10 days, but you got the holidays, so that counts, and you got the 2 weekends, so that equivocates to 14 days, whatever. September 14th is the new purse bid date, and I'm gonna tell you this. If you, well, I'm doing the interview, so I can disseminate this stuff too, and many of you guys too. If you've listened to all my Bob Arum interviews, you would know Bob Arum ain't budging on his price for this fight because the fight is going to happen. Bob sent this fight to purse bid. He has a ceiling on what the fight is going on, what he wants to pay for the fight. That's it. You either accept it or you got to take the fight. Bob ain't tripping on this purse bid at all. He ain't tripping at all on this purse bid. If you know anything about a running a business, a free enterprise, when you have your enemy, which is Terrence Crawford, which is uh, Al Haymon, PBC, right where you want him, you definitely take advantage of it. And I think not Al Haymon, I think Bob Arum is taking complete advantage of this situation. Um, um, he's going to let Al Haymon make the next move. I'll give you an example. I remember when I asked Bob Arum about the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury and about the guaranteed pay. He said, no, it was no guaranteed pay. We just did the pay-per-view splits. And I was like, oh. So when you put that into here, he knows the pay-per-views are going to be, I mean, it's going to be the worst pay-per-view that we've seen since Triple G. It's going to be that bad. And it's nothing that they can do. It's nothing they can do to change that. There's nothing Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford can do to make people interested in this fight. There's nothing they can do. No one's going to throw a fight party. No one's interested. Um, People are just going to watch the fight because it's a good fight, but they don't have the Keith Thurman in them or the Adrian Broner in them or the Deontay Wilder in them to promote the fight. And Bob Arum knows this. So Bob Arum is saying this: if I lose the purse bid, so what? You paid my fighter, and the fight has to happen. See, if the fight didn't have to happen, then Bob Arum would be willing to negotiate with Al Haymon. But since the fight has to happen, it's either going to be at his price or Al Haymon is going to pay for the fight, or an outside person is going to pay for the fight. And if an outside person comes and pays for the fight, Bob Arum just makes a few phone calls. You want 10 of my fights, or you want one of Triller fights? Make up your mind. And that's just the reality of it. And Al Haymon would do the same way Al Haymon and them did Teofimo Lopez. They ganged up on Teofimo Lopez, and uh, they put Floyd Mayweather on that Sunday. When you do a fight, it's not supposed to be a fight 2 weeks before and 2 weeks out. It's like a bubble around the fight. You can't do nothing as it pertains to that sport. And the same thing when you have a business in a shopping area. You can't have competition in that shopping area. Same thing with boxing, and in that arena per se. So I know that they made some phone calls that made Triller vacate the premises. But at the end of the day, we'll say he doesn't respect Terrence Crawford in terms of him generating revenue. He compared him to an inanimate object. When someone compares you to an inanimate object, that means you ain't nothing to them. And Terrence Crawford should have spoken up. Terrence Crawford should have been that dude that he claims to be with Bob Arum, but he chose not to. He chose to be a good young man. And in that instance, it wasn't in his best interest, you know. Um, but moving forward, It's either gonna be at Bob. It's only two options for this fight. Well, it's three options. Eddie Hearn can take this fight across the water, and he's developed some relationships here in America. But I'm gonna tell you how the purse bid is gonna go. Bob Arum is gonna put his price on it, 3.5 million. He don't care if Al Haymon goes over the top of him. He don't care. He just saved $3.5 million, and he got a date, and he has an additional date on ESPN that he can give to whoever he wants to give it to. Lomachenko, he still has that budgetary item on his schedule that he can still use. That date, I would say. So what's going to happen is Bob has a set price, and if you watch my interviews, he said it. He said he's going to have to bid much higher for a fight like that, but and Al Haymon is going to have to go over the top of it. But if Al Haymon bids $4 million, then that's going to ring the alarm at PBC. So that's why this public display of funds is so important to the sport of boxing. You guys get to see how frugal and how stern and how shrewd of a businessman Bob Arum is, and you get to see how 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 pro-black Al Haymon is. Two black fighters, one named Sean Porter that's under his. So it's real interesting, man. This is real interesting because they're not getting no pay-per-view money back. They're not. It ain't happening. And there's I mean, not unless they fight at the weigh-in or at the press conference. Not unless Bomac and Kenny Porter get into a fight. I don't see. They're not popular. Like, they're popular when their fighters are fighting, but you rarely see Bomac. You rarely see Team Porter or Team Crawford doing post fight uh, responses to fights. Terrence Crawford tweets, and but you rarely see them actually in the mix. So, but anyways, 9 times out of 10, I'm right, and I am definitely right on this because I think I know Bob Arum really well, and I really really understand Al Heyman's business model, like, to the T. And if you look at the last 4 dates on Fox, non pay-per-view dates, you will see Al Heyman is being as frugal and as shrewd of a businessman as Bob Arum is. Uh, I just found out yesterday that they had a fight card September 5th on FS1, so I didn't even know. So it's going to answer a lot of questions, and Bob Arum doesn't care if the purse bid goes public. I think Al Heyman doesn't want the purse bid to go public. He doesn't. And the postponement happens. Obviously, I think it's a little bit too long. That's why people love the NFL. People love the NBA. LeBron James is coming November 17th. Only thing that keeps him out of it is injury or COVID. And this irates the fans. Basically, like, why should we have to wait? It makes no sense. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. Tonight, we're gonna have some fun with it. I'm gonna have some fun with this one. Since Bob Arum is my best friend. So me and Bob gonna have some fun. Bob Arum will be in the shop the end of September somehow, some way, and we'll promote that Shakur Stevenson and Deontay Wilder fight. So anyhow, click the link below, 9 wives, and I appreciate y'all. So Barbershop Conversations, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tonight, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.